Having, actors as well known as our cast is a challenge anywhere because they're going to get, surrounded. It helped to be around rock and roll stars because they're getting a lot of attention themselves, and sometimes they may be even more interesting to, the crowd. So that was just, its own sort of challenge of people in crowded places. But it was interesting because we've been working with a very small crew for a long time now. And it really suited, our style of shooting really suited working in these festival situations because, we could go in there with a tiny van load of people, like, a camera person and a first AC, a second running mags, because we were shooting film, a first AD, a sound person. Like, we had the teeniest crew you could imagine, and we could just slip in and slip out. And, there was no big sets. We don't light. We work with natural light. Our team has gotten extremely skilled at working with natural light and finding the areas. And Terry's really good at showing the actors how to work with that and making sure that they have their light and they know where to be and where to avoid. And so that part actually went really well. The sort of chaos of music festivals somehow suited our style of very freeform, very small crew and production. By shooting at real festivals, as we did in this film, I think we give people the experience of being backstage, of being right in front of them, of moving from stage to stage, listening from song to song, also pun intended. You get, it's a very high energy experience, and the music is intense and it's loud and it's in your face, and I love that. I think it's one of the it's one of the things that makes this movie quite contemporary and unique, is this whole festival, intense atmosphere. I think it was actually Francine Maisler who brought Rooney Mara to Terry's attention. Francine's our casting director. And we had seen her in Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, of course, which is, again, just a remarkable performance and a very powerful character. And what Terry loved was that in person she has a very soft, sweet nature. And he loved the idea of sort of juxtaposing this what looked like a very innocent, lovely young woman into, having her be this character who actually is a little out of control, and just going for extreme experience to make her feel something. She's sort of disconnected from the world. So I remember we had several meetings with Rooney, and she was so interesting, and she had so much depth to her and so much contradiction in her own self that Terry really enjoyed her and thought he could really build an amazing character around her. Living in Austin really led to the genesis of this movie because there is so much music there. The festivals are happening, bands and singers and performers are coming and going constantly, and it's a music culture, and so it really lends itself to a story set in the music business. I think it's really helped Terry to kind of wrap his head around this whole idea. Terry likes to work with a lot of different kind of cameras, but for the most part we shoot film, and for the most part it's all either handheld or Steadicam. Chivo and his operator Jorg Vidmer, who's also been with us since the New World, really have a sort of dancer's relationship with each other and with the actors, and so it's very intimate, it's very close, it's very trusting, and Jorg is such an amazing operator, and he understands what both Chivo and Terry are going for in terms of framing, but also camera movement. And, it's not about perfection, it's about intimacy, and it's about immediacy, and it's about pulling you into the frame, and he just does that like no one else. There is music coming out of our ears in this movie, between live performances, by people like Iggy Pop and so many others, but also recorded music by Lika Lee and Patty does both. We have songs from hers from before, Patti Smith, but we also have her singing on camera. It's just a sort of riot of music. There's, Lauren brought in all these young contemporary bands to just fill out the soundtrack and make it feel like, the wild world of Austin music today. And then we use Del Shannon. We use, Bob Dylan. We have, oh gosh, there's so much music in here that I love, and it's, I think people will discover amazing bands.
I think the musicians actually were quite, the ones we worked with particularly, were quite eager to be a part of it, or very open to be a part of it. And Austin, I think, obviously is a hotbed for music, and the way we scheduled it, it couldn't have worked out better. It was the ACL, Austin City Limits, happened to be happening that time of year. I think there was it was a fun. And the way it happened was so organically, right? Because we didn't have to stage anything, or very little. And in fact, most of these concerts, like, the Chili Peppers or whatever, it was, we literally was just given access, and, we prepped, ahead of time a little bit with them, and just came in and shot the live set. The film participation is born out of the personal connection that Terry has with a lot of these creators, And, Patty's an original, right? She's, I think for a lot of us that just grew up with her music, or, like me, as much as I like her music, I think what I really fell in love was when I read Just Kids, right? And it was just a treat to be around her, and I know she was inspirational for all of us, and I'm sure to Rooney, as Rooney's character.
I don't have one life, don't have the other. I want to have life at any price.
You got a boyfriend? Tell me a complete lie. You can say anything you want.
We should make a record together. But you want to make some money? Honors, titles. None of this exists. Help me. Can't be left alone.
Live from song to song, kiss to kiss. We thought we could just roll and tumble.
I think you should tell him. We were together before he even knew us.
It's been a long road.
I want out.
I know.
All kinds of stormy weather. You thought the good fight couldn't ask for more.
I want to live a good life.
You can see through the darkness, 'cause I'll bring the sun.
青春を引きずった大人たちが絶望と孤独にもがきながら人生の輝きを見出していく。ソングトゥーソング。